Welcome back to True Stories Paranormal Survivor. I am really still taking in the experience from last night. I I'm just in such I should say, good place. I am in awe of how it happened. On this day, last year, September the 14th, um, 2022, I had an experience with, I want to call a sacred being. And if I sound a little bit almost like I don't even know how to get started and to talk to you guys and tell you about it, it's because I am literally in awe. I am thankful. Many of you are aware of owls and their meaning, and the omens of, why they do what they do, and how important they are in the world. And I was not quite aware until last year, unfortunately. So if you're listening to this and you go, well, everybody knows that owls are pretty cool. Well, I did. I knew that they were just an amazing creatures. But I didn't realize it until I was sitting on my deck on the 14th last year. And I really believe that this is one of my most powerful experiences. I was sitting on my deck, and it had to be about maybe 10:30, maybe, because I had coffee. So I knew it was early, and I know it was a weekend. And all of a sudden, this owl appears on a part of the tree that had looked like it had been broken off or something, but he was just kind of sitting balanced up there. And I thought that it was quite strange. I'm not quite sure if you will think this is strange, but I thought it was strange, that it was daylight, and I also thought that it was strange that it literally was making eye contact. It was making eye contact almost as if it was like looking through me. And I mean, I am that crazy lady who chats with animals. I will talk to birds and squirrels, and it's been times where I have gone on my deck, and the squirrels and the butterflies and all sorts of things just kind of come to the deck. And typically where they're supposed to all flee and take off, they actually come to the deck, and I will chat. I don't see anything wrong with it. They are live beings. And so I saw this owl, excuse me. I'm telling you guys, words may not come out right today, so just forgive me in right now. um, and so I just, hi, that's pretty cool. I mean, you're here in the daytime, no big thing. And at first, it was kind of turned facing, like looking almost towards the backyard, and then it turned facing me. And I really, honestly, truly was not taking myself seriously when I was chatting. I was just chatting as I always do with birds and whatever. And it almost seemed as if it was literally just staring into my soul, I should say. And my friends, I began to get a little creeped out. And so I left. I had my coffee sitting like there's like a little table that I had outside on that deck at the other property. And I go inside. And I'm like, well, that was weird. Like it never took its eyes off of me. It was kind of like deadlocked. And the most that I had known about owls was that they were like a symbol of protection. That's pretty much all I had known. And so I am with a group. Um, Obviously, I can't disclose here, but I work with a group um, of folks who are pretty connected and dialed into the extraterrestrial world and beings out there. And so I was having a conversation with them about my experience. And I was so excited to find out in depth of what it really meant to experience something like this and to see an owl. And from that day forward, I always considered owls to be very amazing, powerful beings and want to know more about them spiritually. And if you don't know about their meaning spiritually, when I say that, I mean biblically, um, I would suggest and recommend that you take a moment to find out. I don't want to get too deep into that. That's a whole different show. But I would recommend that you take a look and find out what they mean spiritually and biblically. And so last night, and typically this time of year, I have allergy related stuff that goes on, and it's all the way out until probably the beginning of November. So I was having one of these allergy headaches and face aches. And though I am a master Reiki, and I understand that I can pray and be healed, and and there's certain things that I can do and make the connection with God for healing. Sometimes, guys, you really don't have it in you, and you light workers and you Reikis, you understand what I'm talking about. So it wasn't like I couldn't make myself better, but it was really bad, my friends. And I literally was laying there like I cannot sit up, but I have to do something because I cannot go to sleep. And there's certain things that I do when I do Reiki sessions, and there's certain things that off body, on body to myself. I never do on body with any of my clients, and no touch, if you're wondering. And so because it's me, I take my hand, my left hand, and I put it over my head in the area over my eye where I'm hurting. And I took my right hand, which is your power hand, my source hand, and I held it out, which I do all of the time in sessions because that's my receiving hand. And that is how I receive. And I put my hand over my head, close my eyes, and I began to repeat, my head is fine. I am okay. I am healed of, this, and so on. And I repeat it and I repeat it. And oftentimes when you are really struggling physically, it can be tough to even believe the words when you are in prayer and meditation. It can be really tough. But as you all know, everything starts with the imagination and then belief. So I knew I had to imagine myself feeling better And then I had to believe that I was going to feel better. So I'm laying there and I'm doing this and I'm saying this and I'm trying to continue to have the strength to believe that, I was going to be okay. And while I was saying this, I almost could feel myself saying, I'm just going to lay down and go to sleep and, I'm not going to worry about it. If I feel better, I feel better. If I don't, I don't. Hopefully, I just go to sleep. That's me not having faith. And I realize that the moment that I'm saying this to myself, that is a sign of me not having the faith and the belief. And so while I'm feeling this way, I start to hear the sound of an owl. And it's literally outside my window. And it is hooting and hooting and hooting. And I kind of like roll over and I look towards my window and I'm going, why the heck do I hear an owl right now? And I mean, it was loud. It almost sounded as if the way it was making the sound, it was almost as if it was talking. So I'm like, okay, just shut up, Rashika, and listen, what's going on. There is an owl going in. And then I realized in my studies that an owl hooting like that in the night and this type of experience is God showing himself to you. And that is his presence, because owls are in the night, they're up in the night and they're like watchers. Sorry, I really had to take a moment. In that moment, I I felt different physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I felt so appreciative and so connected. And I also realized that there was no pain at all. And my friends, this happened all within maybe 3 minutes. Me repeating that I was healed, me feeling as though, maybe I'm not having faith. I'm just in so much pain. And this owl happened all within maybe 3 to 4 minutes of time. And it's really life changing to have such an experience like this, because oftentimes when I do this show, and before I even do my shows, I meditate and I pray and I connect with the sun and the universe and all things that are living. So I already know that what I am doing is okay, but I also know that there are people in the world that view what I do as something that could be dark and bad and evil. And I came to a place in my life where I said, I realize my purpose on the planet. And in order for me to be my true self and give of myself the way I am supposed to, I am going to have to believe in God's gifts and his creations and his power. And so you guys have no idea. This is really I have cold chills right now. This is one of the most different and powerful and beautiful experiences that I have ever had. And this is actually my third experience with an owl, but in my studies and my connections, um, it is just, I don't know, enlightening to be the person who was shown God in such a form, because I could have easily stayed and gotten to that unfaithful place. But he has a way of showing you how real and powerful he is, especially when it comes to healing. So I hope today that you listen to this podcast, and if you have had an experience like this and you think that it's weird and you probably don't want to share it with other people because they're going to think you a crazy person and they're going to say, oh, it's just an owl. Tell them, as I did at the top of the show, take a moment, take some time and study and understand the true meaning, the spiritual and biblical meaning of owls. And not every experience with something that is different than what others see is dark and evil and bad. Some of these are experiences to show you not only who you are, but who you can become and how you can be such a blessing to someone else. And we'll talk more on tomorrow.